Look at this unity. This is amazing. Huaka, Kuyana Tailuchi, Kuyana Gliglo Mavet, Gaslunga. Good morning. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here and coming here. Thank you so much for inviting me here to be your keynote speaker. What an honor. And before I start going, I have this funny story. Many of you know Byron Nikolai. He's a talented artist from Tuksuk Bay, and he was invited to speak before and perform at the White House before Barack Obama. And after it was over, somebody said, "What was it like? You know, what did you think of it?" And he said, "It was really great. I loved it. But my goal is to perform at AFN." And I know exactly how he feels. There is no greater honor for somebody who was raised in the bush to come to AFN. I feel like AFN is kind of like Native New Year. I literally mark time by AFNs. My sister once asked me, "How long have you had that cell phone?" I said, "I don't know, I think I got it maybe 3 AFNs ago." But I really want to recognize my husband, Gene Peltola Jr. We know him as Buzzy. And my mother-in-law, Pam C., and my stepdaughter, my daughter, Kaylee Ray Peltola. Thank you so much for being here with me. But you know, when I think of unity, I think of so many amazing Alaskan leaders. And I cannot think of an Alaskan leader without thinking of the late Congressman Don Young. And I just want to take a minute and ask Don Valley and Joni Nelson and their 2 children, 2 of their many children, and these are people I've known my entire life, and talk about sharing your parents with Alaska. All of you know Lou Young, we all know Don Young. One of my favorite stories about Don, and this happened long before I became aware, but my understanding is that Ralph Nader, during Don Young's freshman year, said the most powerful person in Congress, in the House of Representatives, is the baby legislator, the freshman from Alaska, Don Young, because he was able to get our pipeline going. He was able to get Congress to get off high center and push our nation forward and really build the foundation of modern Alaska as we know it by getting that pipeline going. And then he just had success after success after success. I could spend half an hour just going over Congressman Young's lengthy list of accomplishments. And nobody can do any job. You cannot be successful at anything you do without the support of your family, without the 100% support and love and encouragement of your family. And Don never could have been as successful as he was without Lou Young and his wife Ann in more recent years, but without just the support of his daughters throughout 49 years of public service. And really, that was your public service. That was your sharing. And what an incredible thing to share both your parents with the state, with the nation, with the world for your entire life. And leaving Fort Yukon and leaving the Yukon River every year and coming home like the salmon do. But I just really want to take a minute and give this family the applause they really deserve for their lifetime sacrifice. Okay, okay.
Love you.
So I don't know if you just caught that, but Joni, Don's oldest daughter, just gave me Don's bolo. Yes. Now I'm a real congressman for all Alaska. I love the theme of this year's AFN, celebrating our unity. Alaskans have always had to work together. Our weather, our terrain, our tininess within our vast landscapes demand unity within every community. Whether an Alaskan serves on a community council, a local school board, a school district board, an assembly, city council, tribal council, your homeowners association, or your village corporation or regional corporation, we know we must be unified to work through our challenges and seize our opportunities. Unity is usually the product of leadership that provides and promotes real listening, having time to deliberate calmly, and build buy-in. Usually our best leaders are unifiers, and Alaska is full of leaders who exemplify unifying people and unity. In my own personal experience, I have hundreds of Alaskan leaders I could name off, but I would miss somebody, so I'm gonna really try not to say any names. And it's this unity that is where I came from. That is how we survived 12,000 years in Alaska, in this climate, with cycles of food. Our people have endured numerous famines, and that is through unity. It's through this inherent understanding that we cannot get anywhere alone. It's through sharing, and sharing on every level, sharing food, sharing love, sharing encouragement, sharing knowledge, generation to generation to generation. This sharing is just inherent, it's intrinsic, it's the pillar of our success and our survival. Just a minute. I had a water bottle. Okay, I'm not going to have a drink of water. So one of the things that has really taken me aback by this whole process is by the overwhelming interest that people from across our state, across our nation, across the world have had in this Alaskan U.S. congressional race. I find it amazing that people are keeping such close tabs on this race. But I think that it really shows, it illuminates to me, and I hadn't really focused on it in this way before this race and before this tremendous interest in this seat. I didn't understand the depths that across our nation and across the world, we are suffering from a lack of unity. We are very, very divided right now in our country. The House is just about 50-50 in Congress. The Senate is, thank you, Joe. The Senate is 50-50 across our country. The last few presidential elections, I mean, really starting 15, 20 years ago, remember hanging chads? This really shows how divided we are, how we are not. And the other thing I want to say is sharing and unity is not just something intrinsic in Alaska. This is what built our republic. This is what democracy is built on. Unity, coming together, compromising, building consensus, building coalitions, working together, seeing each other as humans. Just all of the things that help us gel and work through our problems. But there is such a lack of unity right now. This pandemic has shown us that we are pack animals. We need people, we need each other. We are not meant to be alone. We are not meant to be isolated. And the pandemic really proved that. And yet we still go down this path of more and more isolation, and I think social media is a big part of that. Buzzy and I laugh because we have 7 kids, and we can all be in the same house, and we're still texting each other, time for dinner, because we're all in our little corners in isolation, watching things that interest us. So, you know, and another, I think, example of this extreme isolation are these violent acts that we're seeing across the United States, across the world, these violent outbursts of mass destruction, mass killing. And each of those perpetrators, that is born out of a sense of extreme isolation. We have young people graduating from high school not having one single friend. They leave high school, they think they don't have one friend, they don't feel like they've been seen by one staff person, and this extreme isolation. And then I think back to the way that I was raised and some of the opportunities that my children have had. My children went to Ayapunlit Narvik. It's an immersion school in Bethel that teaches values. It's a values-based curriculum about sharing and community. And I was able to enroll my kids also in the TCLL program in Juneau. It's a Tlingit language and learning culture program at Harborview Elementary. And one of the people I think of as a real unifier and a leader is the late David Katzig, a Tlingit leader in Southeast. And I happened to be at the school one day when they had 2 elders sitting before this group of elementary school students. And David Katzig said to the elementary school teachers, "We have been learning here for thousands of years, maybe not in this spot in Juneau, maybe not in this building, or maybe not in any building at all, but we have been learning here for thousands of years." And he said to the elementary school kids, "You belong here. This building is for you. You belong here." And then he said to them over and over, "You are precious. You are precious. You belong here. You are precious." This is a message we've got to share with every Alaskan, every American, every person in the world. You are precious. You belong here. Somehow we have forgotten to say this to our kids. We've forgotten to say this to each other and our elders. And it almost sounds crazy, you know, when you say it. But what more fundamental, unifying thing can we be telling each other? You are precious. You belong here. So those are the words that echo through my mind. And it was so funny because I was driving down Egan Highway with my little kids. My daughter, I think, was in 3rd grade, and I said, "That was really powerful what David Katzig said to you." And she said, "Oh yeah, he says that kind of stuff all the time." And I loved that. I loved that response. One of the things that I have learned very recently within the last couple years, elders also give this message in the Yukon Delta. The most powerful thing on earth is the human mind. And this came out of a discussion about trauma. And can we ever overcome our traumas? And this elder very simply, kind of like the way Nora said it, yes, of course. The human mind is the most powerful thing on earth. Of course we can get over our traumas. The human mind is the most powerful thing on earth. And my caveat is, if we use it well, if we are disciplined, if we use our mind in the right way, our mind is the most powerful thing on earth. And when I say this, what I'm talking about is these very pervasive messages that we're getting mostly in elected politics, about hate and fear and self-pity. And yes, those resonate, those are compelling motivators, but they're destructive, they're acidic, they tear us down. There is no place for hate and fear and self-pity if we're going to survive and thrive and overcome our challenges and use our mind in a way that can overcome any challenge. And all of you know that 3 of our species of salmon in Alaska are on the decline. Chinook salmon have been on the decline for at least 13 or 14 years. The last 3 years, our chums have fallen off the map. They just haven't returned. The last 3 years, our silver salmon have been in decline in a lot of Alaska. And our reds are abundant. Thank God for reds. God will always provide. He will always make sure that we are taken care of. And he has done this through reds right now. So we are so blessed to have our reds, and I don't want to focus just on the things that are in shortage. I also really want to focus on abundance and getting back to abundance. You know, our crab we're missing 6 million crab. A lot of our resources are not coming back. But this is something through unity, through working together, through all sectors, through Western science, through traditional knowledge, every user group working together, we can rebuild abundance. We can have abundance again. We can make sure that our caribou are coming back and regenerating. But this is only going to happen if we use our mind in disciplined ways that promote unity. And of course, through sharing. So change is happening. Change will always happen. That's a constant state. We all know that. It's up to us to adapt and be resilient and work together. And of course, do everything that we do, and we know this as well, through faith, hope, love, and wisdom. So I have some closing remarks. On Tuesday, I was fortunate enough to be invited here for the youth and elders, and we did my older sister Anna Sattler and I did a segment on the importance of our foods. It was actually really funny. I'm sorry most of you missed it, but I was able to spend time at Youth and Elders, and I really want to take a minute also to give Elizabeth Medicine Crow and First Alaskans applause. They had an amazing in-person gathering of 1,300 people, really celebrating young people, celebrating our elders. It's so wonderful to be able to be together again for Youth and Elders, and especially for AFN. I love being here. I am going to spend every second that I can here with you because this is just such positive energy, and I can't believe this is actually called work, honestly. But I'm so uplifted in this moment. I'm with my family. I'm with all of you. We're all related. I'm so uplifted in this moment because I see the promise of tomorrow. I see it in our children and our grandchildren and all the generations that are going to come after us. And I'm uplifted in this moment because of you. After years of COVID and through economic and political storms, we're together again, celebrating our unity, and I stand before you very humbled, and I'm only able to stand before you in this way because of our unity and because of the faith and hope and love and courage and wisdom in this room. And as you head back to your homes this weekend, be sure to travel safely and also continue to share your stories from this incredible time, because your journey through these last 10,000 years is one that we are walking every day, and I know we will continue on for at least another 10,000 years. Guyana Chaknakbak. Wow.
Congresswoman Peltola. Well, everybody, please just give her another round of applause. She's kind of quiet. On behalf of the AFN Board of Directors, we have a carving, whalebone carving, beluga whales by Ross Schaefer of Kotzebue. And I know the ethics rules for Congress have limits in that, so we're loaning this to you in your office so that we can see it every time. So you will get a letter. It's just loaned. It's not. And I'd also like to invite you to come up and say something. Yes.
Koyaluku akhnaging no khani isminik ping na tulha yuk pichadun pichkhangtok isminik to kham cha pichkhak taksuma andqal khakunsu put pinechtok umyam ta khlo takut koyaluku na khani you khani being not a hanik Sita Juan being not a crunia June Camino Tkitok Jam Koyana Chaknak.
Mary, on behalf of our region, I'd like to thank you for, throwing your hat in for the representative for our state, the position that you recently obtained, especially for a young representative, will more likely be very challenging. But I know that you can do the job. Always remember your roots and where you came from. Again, thank you for representing our regions and the state. And this is a small token of our appreciation from our region here.
Vivian is telling me to open these, and if I've learned one thing, it's do what I'm told. Beautiful, beautiful bracelet. Oh, this is going to be good. It's a mason jar, so it's going to be good. Yes. It's a candle and bubble gum. These are real Yupik gifts right here. I love this. And I'm glad I don't have to report these to ethics. It's just wonderful.
After Vivian, maybe Senator Hoffman could say some remarks. Vivian?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vivian Corthius. I serve as the Chief Executive Officer for AVCP. When we were gathering the gifts, I was thinking, I wonder if she choose come on the plane. But the candle, of course, is a reminder of all of those here in the room, all across the state, especially in the rural areas. And then, of course, the bracelet is just some seal skin with beads, but really it is to remind all of us that we belong as one family. And thank you, Mary, for representing all of us. Brianna.
It gives me great pleasure to be here today to welcome Mary Peltola. I've known her since she was a small little girl fishing on the Kuskokwim with her sister and her father. but she has grown, and the world, the state, the United States should be very, very proud to have her representing us in Washington, D.C. The people of Alaska are very, very special. AFN and all of you should be very, very proud that we have not only an Alaskan woman, but an Alaska Native to represent us in Congress. And I know that people in Congress are looking toward her to give them some guiding light and try to unify the United States, which she had spoken about, which is very, very divided. But in order to accomplish that, I want to have one message, one big message, and that is when you go back home, make sure on election day you make a call to someone, your friends, to show up at the polls. Show this nation, show this state, and show your community that we are here and we're going to come out and vote. That is what it's all about. Number one, vote and check off the one ballot for Congresswoman Mary Peltola. Thank you very much.
Can I end with a funny story? So I'm glad Lyman mentioned that he's known me since I was this big, fishing with my dad and my sister. And when I first showed up in Juneau, I thought I was really going to burn him, right? And tease him and say, oh yeah, we'd go fishing upriver and we'd set the net and we'd look around and there's Lyman. And then next period, we'd go downriver and we'd set the net and we'd look around and there's Lyman. Lyman's always fishing by us. You're always fishing right wherever we were fishing. And right away he said, yeah, and then I had to listen to your dad yell at you all day, no, the other left. And I was like, oh, because that is a true story. Our dad did yell at us, no, the other left. Our only job was to reverse the boat. And he'd go, So anyway, we really did fish by each other. Thank you. And, okay, so I'm going to take this and not the water. Oh, my God. God grant you many years. God grant you many years. God grant you many years. God grant you many years.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Guy with Jalista Corporation, the president and CEO. I'm here to make a few remarks on behalf of Jalista, our shareholders, and our region. We're very proud of Mary Peltola, and the message that she gave this morning is very powerful. And to further expand on it, unity. It's okay for us to develop our personhood, our mind, body, and soul. I call it the me, myself, and I. But in our culture, we also have to get those three aspects in connection with the God and creation. And we have one word in Yuchtun that explains it. Our word sa is a word by itself, or a base word for Samyor, our God, the universe, the world, the air, the environment, the weather, the climate, anything outside, and our consciousness, and being chastised. So unity is possible when the one personhood gets connected to all of that, especially to our Creator. And that's where she's coming from, and that's where we're coming from when we talk about unity. And she needs our prayers. Prayers are very powerful. So I would ask all of you and thank all of you for those prayers that you just sang on Mary's behalf. So keep on praying, and like Lyman said, turn out at the polls in a couple of weeks. That's what we need to do, turn out at the polls and support Mary. And I have to say one last thing. In our culture, we have family. And like Mary said, we're all related. But in Yupik, we also have Nakmi Nilaput. And I'm proud to call her my Nakmi Nulat, my real, truly girl cousin.
Good morning. My name is Willie Kasile, and I'm the chairman for Jalista Corporation. One thing that I wanted to say is, in our native language, we call everyone Yuk. That doesn't distinguish the color of an individual. It doesn't distinguish what nationality we are from. No matter which part of the world we come from, we're all Yuks, we're all people. And I think from the comments that were made earlier this morning, as President Guy indicated, and as Senator Hoffman mentioned, we all need to stand up and support Mary to continue to represent our people and to move forward. Thank you very much.
While everybody's exiting, remember that Mary is Congresswoman for all of Alaska.